Hey everybody, welcome to Round the Twist. It is, oh gosh, what is it? I don't even know what the date is. I didn't bother to write show notes because the babies went down unexpectedly for a morning nap, so I'm taking advantage of this and recording early. What is today? Check my phone. It is Wednesday, August 12th, 2015, and this is episode 216 and a half-ish. Since I took last week off, I'm very, very sorry. I didn't even post on all the different social media things that I normally do. Quite literally got up that morning. Hubby came in to tell me goodbye. I got up and this is probably going to be TMI. I'm sorry. I was stepping into the shower and I got hit out of nowhere by a back spasm, and I was basically on my knees in the hands and knees in the shower, water beating down on me for about 10 minutes before I could even stand up. So yeah, I really wasn't in the best headspace to record. Obviously, I basically, hubby actually came home from work early because I managed to get the twins out of their cribs that morning. Somehow, I still don't even know how I managed that. And then, yeah, I was basically flat on my back with a heating pad and pain meds the rest of the day. Back is better. Yes, I'm still living with my heating pad at night-ish, or if I feel stuff start to tighten up. This is just something that's happened, thank you, since I became a mom. Yeah, so occasional back spasms. The last time I had one was like last October, so it's not a frequent thing. Normally I feel them, like I can feel my back start to tighten up, and before the actual spasms hit, I can start ice, heat, meds, whatever I need to do, stretching, and this just, got up, I felt fine, I stepped in the shower, boom, on the floor. No idea. I'm amazed I didn't hit my head or anything else, but everything's good. So after that lovely little interlude, let's get to the knitting, because oh my gosh, it's been 2 weeks and I have a very whiny goober. Hi Phoebe. Hi. Yes. And a very naked Daisy because Daddy gave her a haircut. Yes. So they will be tooling around in the back. I'm sure you'll hear Phoebe breathing and or whining, and Daisy, I don't know. Okay, I'm trying a little different. I did get thank you to everyone who gave me feedback on the camera positioning. Since I kind of knew where I was going to set stuff last week, and obviously I've had another week off, so I couldn't remember exactly. I'm hoping this framing is a little better. I positioned myself a little, someone said a little closer toward the door in the back. That's our little storage area under our stairs, and that I could go up a little bit. So I feel like I'm very high, but like my eye line is right on where the camera lens is. So please, please, please continue to give me feedback on where I need to be, up, down, side to side. I don't know, because I can't see. Like, I check it before I sit down, but unless someone's actually in the chair, someone who happens to be me, it's very difficult to tell. Yeah, because I'm sitting a good 5-6 feet away from the camera. So anyway, what's on my needles? Like I said, I didn't write show notes. I'm going off of my show notes from 2 weeks ago, so please forgive me. First thing, my current purse knitting, the Nyan Cat's SSK socks. I started these at SSK about a month ago now. This is Fiber Nymph Dye Works. There it is. In her Bedazzled base, it's a 75, 25, 5%, and that's superwash merino, nylon, and stellina. From the lovely Lisa at Fiber Nymph. And I'm knitting a 72 stitch vanilla sock. Tons of yardage, tons in this skein of yarn, because not only do you get the skein of the Nyan Cat, the stripy, you also get a contrasting skein of 200 yards. I think it's 200, it might be more, gosh. 219 yards of the navy blue to do heels and toes with, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I can go hog wild, because even the yardage is 438 yards for the regular skein, plus another 219, oh my gosh, hog wild. So I went a little nuts with the length on my cuff. You can see where I put in the waste yarn. I'm knitting these up on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. And let's see, where was I 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, I was on the first rainbow past the heel, so I was in the middle of this one right here. So, you know, I got like, not bad. This basically lives in my purse. I pull it out at work if I have time. I haven't had a whole lot of time lately. Things have been a little crazy at work. The just craziness, the usual work stuff. But I did have to go in for a class early this morning, so I took it with me, and I did manage. I was just on the orangey red of this rainbow stripe here, so I managed to get about an inch done during that 45-minute, hour-long session. And I hear babies already. No! Take longer naps, children. Okay. So, you know, since last week I got 3 inches done on the foot of the first sock, working on it. I haven't decided if I'm going to put in the heel of this one before I do the second one. Haven't decided. We'll see. Whatever happens, happens. Flying by the seat of my pants here. Oh, let me set my coffee a little far away here. I've got San Marco, as usual, but strawberry wave cheesecake and yum. Oh, life-giving nectar, yes. So, second thing that I have on the needles, and I've actually worked on this quite a bit. This is in my Tangerine Designs little TARDIS yarn stash bag. This is the shawl design that I took the Shaping Shawls class from Susan B. Anderson at SSK, and this is the fruits of my labor from that. Get everything out here. Oh my goodness. Knitting up out of fiber optic yarn. It's my hand spun, so this was one of her gradient fibers. It's an 80-20 merino silk blend. I ended up with 500 yards of a fingering weight, anywhere from a light fingering up to a heavy fingering. Navajo plied, obviously, to preserve the gradient. And I left my little, the easiest way with this to show you is I left my little locking stitch marker in it. So in 2 weeks, can you see my little stitch marker down? I need a third hand. Let's do this down here. So knitting up, I've done all of this. I got through the 5 widely spaced eyelet rows, and then the 5 close ones. I've got the first eyelet row done of the next set of 6 widely spaced rows, and I'm just kind of going until I run out of yarn. We'll see. I've got about 520 yards roughly of my hand spun. It's the Rouge Violet Cerulean colorway, so obviously the rouge is this gorgeous red, and it transitioned up to kind of a deep. Now, I don't know how this is going to translate. I tried taking a picture for Instagram this morning, and no matter what I did, I could not get the color to look right. So we'll see. You can see it kind of got darker down through here. There are some little darker stripes, and then it's starting to transition to the purple. The true violet, you can probably see it on the ball. It's more of a burgundy right now, and the true violet is coming. Love it. I can't wait to hit that blue in the middle. So excited. Of course, that's going to be the thinnest part. I didn't really think this through when I started it, but that's okay. Knitting it up on a US 5, a 3.75 millimeter needle. I'm using my signatures, loving them. They are doing a fabulous job. But yeah, so the shawl design, and I am planning to write it up and release it. I don't know if I'm going to do it as a pay-for pattern or a free pattern. I'm not sure, but I am planning on writing it up after I get it test knit, but I want to get through it first by myself and see how it goes. The nice thing with the way it is, it's kind of a takeoff of well, it's kind of the same shape as a hitchhiker without that sawtooth edging that the Hitchhiker by Martina Behm is known for. But it's nice because you start with just a few stitches on the one end, and you're just going and going and going, and you can bind off anytime you want to. Anytime you want to. Oh, Daisy keeps bringing the offerings to the mommy. So I'm planning on using up every single drop of this hand spun that I possibly can. That's kind of why I wanted to take the class, was I spin this hand spun and then it's sitting in a cupboard and it's like I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to. It's that age old thing. You hear it from new knitters the most, but experienced knitters the same way too, of I don't want to wreck it. That's my for good yarn. I don't want to use it up and wreck it or have it be gone. Well, what's the point of doing it if you don't use it? So I just grabbed it out of there before SS Cam was like, nope, we're using it for the class, and darn it, I'm making a shawl. So it's coming along. I'm loving the progression. It's like I just get sick of the garter stitch and then boom, there's an eyelet row. And I'm liking it so far. The rows are starting to get a bit long, so I can't just like hurry up and knit like a whole section of the wide rows. I can do 1 or 2 rows, but not the full stripe. And that's okay, but that's coming along. You know what, before I forget and take it upstairs and knit on it some more, or remember tonight, let me move my little locking stitch marker up. So I did a good amount on this shawl in 2 weeks. I mean, I probably did like 8 inches. When the rows are ever increasing, that's kind of a big thing. So I think that I did pretty darn good to get these longer and longer and longer rows. Last thing that I have on the needles is Tara's Flax sweater. This is the Flax pattern by Tin Can Knits. I've got it in my Fat Squirrel Doctor Who Companions bag. Knitting it up out of, so glad I organized this, out of Cascade 220 Superwash in the highly imaginative colorway of 805. And this is what I have so far. You might notice it's not attached. That's because I finished a sleeve and I haven't picked up for the second one yet. So I'm knitting the size 2 to 4T. And I know the arms look impossibly long. Trust me, my kids are going to need it. They are turning into long string beans like their daddy and I. And I can always like roll the cuffs up. That doesn't bother me at all. But I knitted 2 specs. I was debating making the sleeves shorter, or excuse me, making the sleeves longer than what the pattern called for. And then as I'm knitting, I'm going, holy crap, those are like long orangutan arm sleeves. So one sleeve done, body done. I just have to pick up the second sleeve and knit that down, and then Tara will have a sweater, and then I'll start it on Gabe's little sweater. So Flax is a free pattern from Tin Can Knits. You can find it on Ravelry, completely free. Tons of sizes, everything from newborn all the way up to like 4XL. I can't remember, I don't have my iPad down here to look it up, but it's got a huge range, everything from bitty bitty babies all the way up to full-size adults. And it's a free pattern. That's the awesome thing. I can't remember, they released a whole series of these patterns that were meant for you to like slowly learn your way into garments, but obviously I just jumped right into the sweaters because, yeah, I've been knitting since 2001. I know what I'm doing, mostly. If not, I kind of do the fly by the seat of my pants philosophy, and I'll figure it out as I go. So knitting this up on, oh gosh, what is it? A US 6 4.0 millimeter and a US 8 5.0 millimeter. The 6 is for the ribbing and the little ribbed cuffs, and the 8 is everything else. There's these fun little garter stitch panels going down the sleeves that helps keep your interest. It also slowed the sleeve knitting down considerably, and man, you can tell the difference in my gauge there. It'll all block out, right? I did change how many stitches I picked up in the underarms. I was getting these huge holes, and the solution to that in the pattern is literally take your waste yarn that you've left, the tail of yarn you've left, and close any holes in the underarms. Well, I think that looks sloppy, so I actually picked up extra stitches and then decreased them away in like the first 4 rows. You can, yeah, okay. you can kind of see right there where my decreases are leaning in. So I didn't write up the notes, I just kind of winged it, so I'm going to have to hopefully get the other side to match. If not, it's a toddler sweater. It's not a big deal. So yay, Tara will have one sweater for winter, and I've got a beautiful blue in the same Cascade 220 Superwash, so I can make one for the Gabe as well. Yay! That's everything I have on my needles. FO of the week. I'm wearing it. The Weigh It Shawl number 3 by Susan B. Anderson. I'm going to take off my shawl pin here. I had it closed with a Nicholas and Felice shawl pin from Etsy. So this is Miss Bab's Yowza What a Skein in their Berlin colorway. And wingspan is probably close to 70 inches. Because wingspan, your wingspan is your height, and this is just as long as my wingspan is. So I inadvertently chose the same colorway that the shawl was knit up in the pattern. Whoops. I was trying not to do that, but I ordered the yarn and then I decided which patterns for it to go with, and I went crud, but I didn't want to change the Bat Guano Crazy one or the Coffee Break Time one. I wanted to be shawl number 2. So this is shawl number 3. It's a lovely kind of elongated triangle where it's wider than it is deep. And it's got a lovely ribbed edging on it. Mine didn't exactly ruffle, but that's okay. I'm fine with it. It looks good. I was expecting it to pull in more, as ribbing is wont to do, but it really didn't. It just kind of lays there lovely and flat. I blocked it exactly how Susan says to in her patterns, and which is I soaked it for, well, it ended up being a couple hours because I kind of forgot about it in the bathroom sink, and put it in with some soak wool wash, squished most of the water out with a towel, and then she says with the superwash wool, throw it in your dryer. So I took the towel that I'd squished all the water out with, that was wet anyway, threw it in the dryer along with this for 10 minutes on like medium heat, and that just gets a little bit more of the moisture out of it. And then I brought it down here back to the craft room and have my big piece of foam insulation blocking board out and just stretched it out on there. Straight line across the top. I didn't use pins, I just kind of shushed it out with my hands and left it alone, and I pulled it, came down and grabbed it this morning to wear to class. So I used a US 8, a 5.0 millimeter needle, which is what the pattern calls for. I figured I'm not going to swatch for this shawl. It's and I didn't bring the bag that it was in down. I had very little yarn left over. I forgot to weigh how much it was, but everything of the Weigh It shawls is using a lovely little kitchen scale. I think hubby got me mine at Target for Christmas last year after my last one died. And you just keep weighing it until you hit, she gives you like 3 different points where you weigh, 2 or 3 different points where you weigh how much yarn you have left. And you just keep going until you hit that point, and then you switch and do what she says to do next. So Susan, you are a genius. I love these shawls. I do have the yarn for the 4th one. I picked that up at SSK. I believe the colorway I picked was Zombie Honeymoon. That's kind of greens and browns and hot pink, and there's a teeny little bit of purple and a little bit of white in there, and I love it. It's totally outside my comfort zone for my normal colors, so I'm sure I'll be casting on Yowza Weigh It shawl number 4 before too long, but I do want to get some other stuff done around here. Oh gosh, that coffee's good. Sorry you guys, it's a little chilly in the basement, so I'm kind of wishing I would have brought a sweatshirt or a sweater down instead of just the shawl. Actually, let me get it thrown over my shoulders rather than around my neck for the last little bit. So 2 weeks ago, we're going to move on to pokey things. I can't even tell you, I started this like 2 days before I left for SSK and finished it a couple days ago, so like a month. but working on 4 projects at once, plus cross-stitching, plus work, plus babies, plus everything, I don't think that's too bad. Ended up 880, or it was like an 8.8 ounce skein of yarn in a month. I don't think that's awful. While working on multiple other projects. If I was being monogamous, that would have been ridiculous. I should have gotten through it a lot sooner. But Phoebe, Mama can't be petting you all the time. Shh. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, moving on to pokey things, I had just gotten my kit for A Very Merry Christmas Town, and I wasn't sure how soon I was going to start it because Clue 1 was already out. I did start it. Actually, let me talk about this bag first. It's kind of falling under Various and Sundry and pokey things. So while I was at SSK, Amy, who has the Knitting in Circles podcast, Froggy Monkey, you might know her by on Ravelry, she had said there was another SSKer that was there that had won a bag the year before, and it was a Firefly bag, and she wasn't a huge Firefly fan, so she felt like it should go to someone who was a Firefly fan, so Amy was trying to get me in touch with her. It didn't happen while we were there. Amy must have, because suddenly the lovely ironical knitter, Jen, she messaged me on Ravelry saying, hey, if you want the bag, it's yours. And she popped it in the mail and sent it to me, and it is fabulous. I don't even know who made this. She won this as a door prize for SSK 2014, the year I wasn't there. And it's got this great Firefly character print. And then the inside matches my Jessalou Jane hat. But it's got some, I mean, it stands up on its own. It's got a solid base on it. It's heavy duty handle. There's no tag. So I don't know who the person is who made it, donated it to be for a door prize. I have no idea. If anyone knows, can identify this, please let me know. The bag is awesome. It is fully finished inside. I mean, it's beautifully done, and I'd love to pimp your stuff. Please let me know if you recognize this bag. So, The Very Merry Christmas Town. I showed you everything that was in the kit. Oh, you brought me another offering? Thank you. Rope bone this time. And I actually switched a few things around. I'm still working on my Once Upon a Time sampler for Tara, but I pulled the little wood hoop, cheapy, like 99-cent hoop from Hobby Lobby, I think it was, off of that, and instead put my big Q-snap frame on that because it's a bigger piece, obviously. I also, rather than winding all of the floss onto bobbins, I actually took and cut it into equal lengths so I can just, and they sent this lovely little card. So rather than flipping back and forth through 8 pages, back and forth on my iPad in the PDF reader, going from the color key to the chart, back to the color key, back to the chart, back to the color key, back to the chart, which is what I'm doing with Once Upon a Time. But there's only like 5 pages on that one, and this one there's like 8 or 9, and I was going, oh, good googly moogly, I can't do this. So I actually went ahead and cut lengths. These are already pre-cut lengths of all the DMC flosses, and they sent this little card that has the corresponding symbol that's used on the charts, which is awesome. And just threaded that on there so I can go, okay, the next thing I need is the little thing that looks like a peace sign. Okay, well that's this pink, and I can just pull off, just grab one strand and pull it out and then peel off what I need. So I'm loving this, and I started stitching. I'm also getting ready. They put in some Krennic. Hey, quit licking the hair off your paws, please. Some Krennic metallic, so we'll see how this compares to the DMC. Everyone has said it's fabulous. I'm kind of nervous about it, but I'm nervous about any metallic. So I started, and I got not a whole lot done. That's everything. I have started using the, it's not laying flat either because of how I had it in the hoop. The Gentle Arts, the variegated floss that I showed you, and of course I don't think I kept the little Dealy Boppers from it. It's around here somewhere. The tags, that's what. God, the words, they are not there. Ah! So, there's two of these are like hand-dyed variegated thread. I've started using the red, that's what the door, and this over here is going to be Santa. So his little hat and his suit are in that variegated. And you can kind of tell in the door. I am trying to do the, I'm used to going and doing like stitch a row or a column, do one half of the X, and then go back up the column or go back across the row and closing the X out. But it was recommended with the variegated to do your full X, full X, full X, full X. So I'm having to change my thinking when I'm doing the stitching, which I think is why it's taking me a little longer. But actually, I mean, it doesn't look like much, but it's really, I feel like I need to defend how much I've done on this. I feel like I've done quite a lot. I've spent actually like 3 nights working on this, but I've also, one thing I've been doing, because on the nights that I'm up and my family's sleeping, because I'm trying to flip the sleep schedule back to nights, more on that later, I've been coming down here and binge watching America's Next Top Model. I started from the beginning. I'm up to season 7, I think. It's on Amazon Prime Instant Watch, and just so I don't spend the whole night doing one thing, I have everything piled up next to me, except for my purse socks, the Nyan Cat socks. I've got the shawl, I've got the sweater, I've got both cross-stitch projects. I've got snacks, I've got coffee, I've got everything I need. Excuse me. And I've been timing it by the shows. So when one show finishes, one episode, I get up, I use the bathroom, I get more snacks, I do whatever, toddle around a little bit so I'm up and moving, and then I switch what project I'm on. So I try to time it so I'm at a decent stopping point by the end of the episode. And it's a little easier to do that with the cross stitch than it is with the knitting. But I mean, the knitting, the sweater and the shawl, I can just throw those, okay, finish the end of the row, throw it down, put the shawl on pause, take care of everything else, and then switch. But yeah, that's how I've been kind of dividing things up a little bit. So that Very Merry Christmas Town is from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. They have kits available right now. And the first clue has released. That's what I'm working on right now. And I'm not sure when the second clue comes out. It's probably in another couple weeks. I know one clue was coming out in like end of July or beginning. I don't know. I can't even tell you. Whenever it comes out, it comes out. I'm not keeping up with it anyway. We'll see if I get clue 1 done by the time clue 2 drops, which is at an unknown, undetermined future time. So the other thing that I'm working on in between is the Once Upon a Time sampler, again by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I've got it snapped into my big Q-snap frame, so I'm not going to move it, but you can kind of see I've got my border done along the top. I've got January, February, March. I am working on April, which is Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, and I've got the 3 bears done except for their eyes, so that's why they look like creepy little zombie bears down here. Obviously I'm working on Goldilocks. I'm working on all the little, there's all kinds of little bitty things that are in the middle, and I'm slowly working on it. I don't know why. It's like the ones that have all the little bits of stuff, like January with Snow White and February with the Frog Prince, and then now Goldilocks, they seem like they take me longer, because even though, oh yeah, I get this done, I get this done, I get this done, I don't know why. It's like I do one little thing and then I go, okay, done. Whereas the 3 Little Pigs that was in March, it was more like a complete scene rather than just elements of the show, of the fairy tale. And I zoomed through that in like 3 nights. So the rest of the year is a good combination of the two. Some are the little, like the elements of the story thing, like I'm working on now with Goldilocks. Others are like the full scene things, and we'll see if the trend continues. The scene ones go faster for me. Can I help you girls? The faces I'm getting here. Also on this one, I've got my little narwhal needle minder from Tangerine Designs. That was another SSK purchase. And in between stitching, the reason I'm leaving it in the Q-snap, where before I wasn't leaving it in the hoop, with the Q-snap, you can actually take the little bar things on the sides and turn them in, so there's no tension on the fabric. The fabric actually isn't under tension right now, and then when I'm ready to stitch, I just roll them out, and boom, I have tension on my fabric and it's easier to stitch. For me, anyway. So, I'm just kind of letting the fabric relax in between working on it, and it's kind of nice not to have to get it in and out of the hoop like I'm doing with the Very Merry Christmas Town. So on to Various and Sundry. We have had some more changes with jobs and with life, and I'm not moving again. No, they'll have to drag my cold dead corpse from this house. I am never moving out of this house. We worked too hard to get it, but work is changing. Like I talked about a couple weeks ago, we were looking for childcare. We did find a lovely nanny babysitter. I don't know how you'd classify her, on viacare.com. Thank you everyone for your recommendations. I had already actually started interviewing people when I can't even remember who it was told me, oh, try care.com, you can find people in your area. I'm like, yep, already done. Interviews are set up. So I interviewed 3. I actually got probably a dozen applications. I had 3 come to the house and interviewed them, and we selected one. Stop chewing, please. And initially the plan was I wouldn't be starting on day shift. That's the other big thing. I'm moving to day shift. After 11 years of working night shift, I'm going to days. Yay! I can be up like normal people when the bright burning day star is in the sky. That's going to take some adjustment. It also means that hubby and I will be able to overlap a couple of days a week, so we'll have a couple days off together and be able to do stuff as a family, or gee, make appointments. Like, I haven't had my eyes checked in like 5 years. I should probably go do that. Since both my glasses and my contacts are causing me a little bit of a headache, so I think my eyes have definitely changed. But I mean, like, I'm still safe to drive and everything. Don't worry. I can still see and read signs and all that. It's just, I think they're just much off, and it's, yeah. So with going to days, until I was going to move at the end of September, basically at the end of this next schedule that we're on. But day shift had a couple more people leave, and my boss just talked to me this morning. They need me to move up to day shift sooner. So the original plan was to have our new nanny come in like for this next month or so on, like after I work a shift and I'm not going in that next night, come in the morning and work like a half shift, work until noon, so I can come straight home from work, go to bed. Eric would have gotten the kids up, and then I could sleep until noon and then get up and be fine, rather than trying to force myself to stay awake until 11:30 after working the night before or several nights before and being very firmly on a night shift schedule. Yeah. We're not even, I think I have to have her come for 2 shifts now for a half shift. And then it's like, okay, so we'll have you a half shift on Monday. I'm going to work a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She'll come for a half shift on Monday so I can sleep in the morning. Thank goodness, because 3 shifts in a row, I don't know how I'd do it. She'll watch the kids in the morning. I'll sleep, get up in the afternoon, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going in to start working day shift. So the end of this month, like another week and a half, 2 weeks, I'm going to days. Here we go. It's kind of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of change. I brought it up to my boss a couple weeks ago, and suddenly it's like, boom, here we go. We're switching over. All right. It's a bit of a whirlwind. I'm hoping it's for the better. I think it'll be for the better. Obviously, day shift is an entirely different ball of wax. And I know that going in. I've never worked days, but I'm not having any illusions. I know it's busier than nights. I know it is. I know it's going to be different, but I think we'll be okay. So, I think the babies fell back asleep. I haven't heard them in a little bit, so I think I'm going to finish my coffee and then go take a nap. Yes, I can drink coffee and go directly to sleep. That's how addicted I am. It's so awful. And we'll have to see what the schedule works out like for what it's going to mean for the show. Obviously, I will still be recording, but I don't know if it will be on Wednesdays or if it's going to have to start being in the evenings that I'll record or what. So we'll play it by ear. Take it from week to week. I might just be off by a day or something. And if it's not going to happen that week, I will let you all know, probably on the RAV board. So until next week, happy knitting.